Shalom. Want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Makakodash, double honors to the elders and the apostles of GMS, and salutations to you brothers who's pushing the truth to the four corners and highways and byways, and shalom to you aquads that's pushing with your husband and being obedient, with a sober mind. Again, want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Makakodash. All right? This is 1 Corinthians chapter 14, I'm reading from verse 33. It says, "For Yahweh power is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all the churches of the saints." And I'm going to name this lesson, a reminder to the church. All right? So Yahweh power is not the author of confusion, right? Confusion, disobedience. Let's see who that came from. It says, Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 29. It says, "Lo, this only have I found, that Yahweh power hath made man under Salakia, had made man upright." Right? So he had made man upright, meaning that, hey, we supposed to follow basically the last statutes and commandments. Let's get it. In same Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 13. It says, "Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Yahweh power and keep his commandment, for this is the whole duty of man." All right, so that's the whole purpose of man's creation. Going back on Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 29, it says, "Hey, lo, this only have I found, that Yahweh power hath made man upright, but they have sought out many inventions." Yeah, man basically sought out and make their own, their own goings in the earth, right? Things that lead to confusion, which is at fault. Right? Like it says here in Romans chapter 8 and the 20th verse. It says, "For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who had subjected the same in hope." Right? So vain things is who this the creature tends to go out by, and this going according to this flesh. By man is still in this flesh, All right, going back on 1 Corinthians chapter 14, reading back the third verse, it says, "For Yahweh power is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all the churches of the saints." It says, "Let your women keep silent in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are committed to be under obedience, as also said the law." So, hey, the women them basically supposed to follow these men. The man is who's set over, the woman. All right? Let me get it. This is let me get it in the law. This is Numbers Numbers 30. Let me get it from I'm going to read from the fourth verse. It says, "But if her father," right? Let me get it a little higher. This is Numbers 30 and verse 3. It says, "If a woman also vow a vow unto Yahweh power, and bind herself by a bond, being in her father's house in her youth, and her father heareth her vow, and her bonds therewith she hath bound her soul, and her father shall hold his peace at her, then all the vows shall stand." So basically, it's through her father, right? A woman without her husband, through her father, her vows, her prayers, the things that she's make oath with, even she's going to fast, what she's going to be fast for, these things must go through her husband, or Salakia, or at the time there, or her father. You see? Which shows that the man is the head of the woman, right? Going on, it say, "And every bond within wherewith she had bound her soul shall stand." Verse 5. "But if her father disallow her in the day of that he heard it, not any of her vows or of her bonds wherewith she had bound her soul shall stand, and Yahweh power shall forgive her because her father disallowed it. Yeah, because well, basically the man is the priest of the head of at the head of each household. That's the ordinance that had been set. The man is set to guide the woman. All right. It says, and if she had at all an husband when she vowed or utter oath out of her lips, wherewith she bound her soul, and her husband hear it, and held his peace at her in the day that he heard it, then her vows shall stand, and her bonds wherewith she bound her soul shall stand. Right? So, now that she have a husband, because well, she moved from the father, right, to her husband. She's handed over to her husband from the father. Right? So he take that role of being watcher for her soul, the guide on. Right? He's at the authority over her. You see? All right? He's the one that basically life is on the line to take sins of her, to remit and retain sins for his family. That's the role of the man, of the Israelite man. You see? Right? That's why again you are what, you're supposed to basically help your husbands and respect them. Right? Reverence your husbands. All right? Now, going back on, 1 Corinthians chapter 14, reading the 4th verse, it says, let your woman keep silent in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, as also says the law. Because, well, basically, they lack the understanding. Right? Let me get it. This is, let's select it. Yep, this is the book of Job chapter 39 verse 17, right? It says, because God hath deprived her of wisdom, neither hath he imparted to her understanding, right? When you read up on this verse, it's basically talking about what the peacock, right? And it was making reference to a woman, you see? So the wisdom and understanding was not imparted or divided to the woman, right? Let's see who it was given to. Right, this is Proverbs chapter 4, reading verse 8. Salaki is actually chapter 8, reading verse 4. It says, unto you, O men, I call, and my voice is unto the sons of man. Right? And who is this talking about? Let me read from verse 1. It says, do not wisdom cry? Right? And understanding put forth her voice. Right? She standeth in the top of high places, by the way, in the places of the path. She crieth at the gates, and at the entry of the city, at the coming in, at the doors. Right? So basically, wisdom put forth her voice and gave a cry. And we would find out on the street, the men that is commanded to go on the highways and byways from Yahushai. Right? Going on, it says verse 4, unto you, O men, I call, and my voice is unto the sons of men. O ye simple, understand wisdom, and ye fools, be ye of an understanding heart. All right. Going back to the 1 Corinthians chapter 14. All right. Or the fourth verse, it says, "Let your woman keep silent in all the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, as also said the law." It says, "And if she will learn anything, let her ask her husband at home, for it is a shame for a woman to speak in the church," right? One of the reason is this, because she may speak things and even embarrass her husband. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 5, reading from verse 1. It says, "Keep thy foot when thou comest to the house of Yahweh power," right? When you come to the house of worship amongst men of the Lord. It goes on, it says, "And be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil." It says, verse 2, "Be not rash with thy mouth, and let not thine heart be hasty to utter anything before Yahweh power. For Yahweh power is in heaven, and thou art upon the earth. Therefore let thy words be few." Right? There's even to the men. Right? We can't overtalk, and even going in the round talk, or out of the way. All right? So basically, the like it says in verse 1, the sacrifice of fools is basically speaking things that are off, things that are not scriptural. All right? That you could be speaking things that, that leads to offense. Shame to your husband. Because it seems that this is what the man encouraged in the house. Right? After your folly. All right? Let's get another precept. It says in 1 Corinthians 11 verse 1, "Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Yahushua Mashiach. Now I praise you, brethren, that ye remember me in all things, and keep the ordinances," you see the orders, "as I deliver them unto you." It says, "But I would have you know that the head of every man is Yahushua Mashiach, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Yahushua Mashiach is Yahweh power." All right, so we can see here that clearly the ordinances is set. It's Yahweh power, Yahushua, the Israelite man, all right, the anointed, and the woman, right, coming down the children. You see? So again, I want to give our praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushua, Bahasham Makakodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of GMS. Salutations to you brothers who's pushing the truth to the four corners, highways and byways. And shalom to you, Akwat. Keep pushing, keep fighting, stay faithful. We are almost out of here. Shalom.